All right, I'm going to call the Economic Development and Airport Committee meeting to order, May 18th, 2021. The members present are Ms. Earlston, Mr. Ivy, and Tom Fellner. I'd like to thank everyone for our experiment in reintroducing live meetings. So those of you who are virtual, I hope you'll bear with us and as we work the bugs out. Before you, you have the minutes of April 20th, 2021 regular meeting. If there are no changes or corrections, I'd like a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion to accept the March 16, 2021.
Mr. Ivy makes the motion to accept.
And I will second that.
Ms. Earlston seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0, and the approval of the minutes has passed. Next is the approval of the agenda. If there are no additions or subtractions, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Ms. Earlston makes the motion and Mr. Ivy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved as presented. First discussion item is resolution 2021-11. The reappointment or appointment of Chad Miller to the Port Authority.
Yeah, I don't know what he has to say for himself, but no, Chad's here for the rest of the agenda, but it just turns out that he's, his term is up at the end of the month. If we move this out of committee, we can put it on next Tuesday night and have no lapse there. I think we've got another person willing to serve in that open spot. And we may be able to discuss that and add that to the agenda Tuesday, but that's that vacancy. So anyways, it's a requirement.
Discussion that was required, but thank you, Mr. Miller. And I'd like a motion to move resolution 2021-11 on full council.
I will make that motion.
Ms. Earlston makes the motion,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Ivy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next is ordinance 2021-40 is the discussion of the CRA expansion.
Doc, I'll try to be briefer. You're right. I could have said that before about Chad. What this is, the area that has been annexed to the city after we created the CRA, and we didn't change the boundaries. So think of this as the JBS Industrial Park that was in the township, annexed in, and now they're really at the beginning of the demo and then the construction of a spec building, at which point I don't know how much they will ask for in terms of an abatement, but they're, one's coming. So that's what the purpose of this is. And I think it also conforms, Thomas, any other, or is it just specific to these few parcels?
Well, they're actually the only other annexation of which we're aware is the small bits on 598 King Man with that project, but other than that, that's
The state
yeah.
But everybody else on that corridor, if you will be in a CRA
Correct.
once we get this. Okay, great.
Can somebody orient me to what we're talking about again, please?
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you could just briefly redefine what CRA is.
Right. For about 15 years, personal property, equipment and real estate aren't taxed the same way they were.
Oh, I know I'm on the CRA board. I'm just,
Okay.
what property are we
All right,
talking
we're talking about the Pico property.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There
Perfect.
you go. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, that's what that is. Bringing it into alignment. I think it's just a good move, and we're about 6 months ahead of being able to market it and get that going. But
Drove
anyway,
by the other morning and a lot of progress made there getting that down. So
yep.
If there are no other questions or comments, I'd like to hear a motion to move, ordinance 2021-40 onto council.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Ivy makes the motion, seconded by Ms. Earlston. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. The next item, which I believe, well, anyway, is the 629 roadway grant. And I'm gonna maybe ask Mr. Miller to lead the blocking on this.
Sure, so this is a grant that was secured to assist with the infrastructure costs, extending the roadway out there where the parcel land that the potential free center is going to be built. But obviously that roadway services more than just that parcel. It serves all of the parcels, the neighbor, the Sleep Inn, and the Valero gas station out there. So the grant actually covers, I believe, 70% of roadway work, which I think the total from the estimates about $462,000. So I believe part of the request that was before council, and then I think maybe with this, is to appropriate other city funds to help with the rest of that infrastructure that's needed out there. Obviously, the additional roadway work, but water and sewer as well. I mean, from the support of the Port Authority, obviously, we'd like to see that happen because of just another step closer to actually completing the free center project. But even without that, the infrastructure needs out there, which is huge for any other economic development that's going to happen.
We have this coming for third reading on
Yeah.
council. Is that correct?
That's, yeah, number 38, ordinance number 38. Yeah.
This is part of the 462,000 from the DSA grant, not in addition to not more grant secured. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the 462 is the grant money. The ordinance, I believe, in front of council is appropriating additional funds.
Yeah. So the what we need to do, and it is either Gail or Eunice on. Okay, the auditor's office is going to have to, they think, create a fund to receive reimbursement for this grant and the next one. So what we'll do likely, and we had I think a constructive meeting with the auditor today to map this out, is they'll advance money from the general fund into this fund. Think the plan would be to put the last about 15% together. There's a remainder that needs to be committed on the city. And then we'll receive that. We'll have a contract with area contractor, the city will, and then we'll be reimbursed by the state. When we get that money, that will then, the advance will be paid back to the general fund. So that piece of legislation is probably, I got the impression it's a couple meetings away. But yeah,
Okay, so how is this different from what we were already talking about at full council? Just to do what we were just talking about, to do all that kind of.
yeah. So the ordinance that we'll get the third reading next week is for water, sewer, and some engineering. This is the roadway part.
Okay.
So that's sort of the mechanics of how to receive the money and reimburse. And so that's what we worked out with the auditor. So expect that maybe next meeting cycle. So then that's 629. It's we found out today it's state money, not federal money. So that's in the technical way kind of helpful. So
just for clarification, if I may, this 271 is part of the 462 from the meeting 10 days ago. This is not in addition to, which would take us over $733,000 through grant applications or grants being awarded on top of, and then an additional 320 and change.
so yeah.
I think you're, Aaron, sorry to interrupt you, I think are you looking at the grant? There's no ordinance for
Right, I understand.
the roadway grant. The ordinance was the 271, that's for the airport.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Freeze code was mentioned, so I apologize. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the same. plot.
It is kind of complicated. Yeah, we don't think that DSA, the folks who have committed the money to the city for this 629, will require any legislation from us.
Okay.
We understand it's got a date with the controlling board. And so we're just gonna be set up, so when that contract, when they approve it, that contract's there, we have the
Fun.
funding to get it going and not, this really, I think, well, it could still be built this year if council wants to move, I don't mean it to start, pick up the pace a little bit. So anyway, that's enough money, 70% to get you either in trouble or make you want to finish out the other 100%. So that could lead you to D, Doc.
Okay. So any other questions or comments on item C? Okay. The item D on the discussion items is the jobs and progress grant and Mr. O'Leary, Mr.
Yeah.
Miller.
Well, I think it goes, I think that the port has been determined and keeping focused on filling up that other 30%. So the request had been made, I think by Gary, for jobs and commerce money. So don't go too cross-eyed on it. These are Jobs Ohio dollars, not DSA dollars. Okay, and they're discretionary. Again, they won't require us to do anything. They have been provisionally granted. What we'll have to do is the same thing. Be set up to accept the money, advance it from the general fund, and then pay it back as part of, there'll be 3 pieces to that roadway contract later this year, early next year. So that's what that is. It's another 75,000.
Just chipping away.
Yeah, for those advocates of it, it's just, or a baseball fan, just keep him at the plate, he's hitting, or keep him on the mound, he's getting outs for us. So I think we still have about 123,000 that I'd label as city to work through to be able to pay that whole roadway estimate.
What
But
was that number again? I'm sorry.
we 123 and change, 125 probably for the sake of planning purposes. So without getting ahead of it, there's the possibility of using some of the recovery dollars. They would be eligible for that. So there's some things to look at there. But I'll be square with you. I don't have that 125 figured out tonight. Anyways, that's what, and it's jobs in progress, or excuse me, jobs in commerce. And that's my fault, Julie. I got scolded first thing this morning.
Okay.
I swear, I guess the state guy that doesn't, he cares, and he said jobs in commerce. So I don't, not to be, you don't want to make the guy who is like sort of the gatekeeper of these funds PO'd, so. Anyways, 75 grand.
Probably have to set up again, like for the 629, a fund to accept, right? So another fund line.
I think another fund line on the revenue side, it'll be this new fund, and then on the expenditure side, it'll be probably in the same category, infrastructure, something like that. So it's not, it's I'll hustle to think through the 125. One of the things just for this committee to think about maybe tomorrow is, clearly that 401, the capital improvements fund, that would clearly be eligible. But between the water and sewer components, if you had another 125 on the fund balance, we really take that capital improvements fund down to, the gas light is dinging and telling you to stop. So I'm not sure that's the best answer, but I'll keep working on it.
Any other questions or comments? Any other business? Mayor, do you have any?
I want to say one thing. I bet 6 weeks ago, I was skeptical about whether these dollars could be pulled together. And I think think I hope there continues to be a strong majority on Tuesday. One of the things that would be helpful to consider is ordinance 38, I think it is, correct? It's got an emergency clause on it. I don't think it solves any useful purpose. We're not going to rush out and do it. Heck, the thing's not designed. So the need to implement it right away, that's probably, and if it has an emergency in it for some reason, it's a 4-3 majority. It's like, oh, man. Procedurally, the 4 people who would want to see that it move ahead would kind of be thwarted by that emergency clause. So you may want to consider count noses, flip the votes, check, make sure you got 5 votes, then there's not a problem. But if there's maybe only 4, I'd suggest somebody makes the amendment. Thomas is shaking his head.
Yeah.
He gave me that idea.
Tell me again how that helps.
So what happens is when there's an emergency clause, it requires 5 votes to pass. With the emergency, if it's just one of those little vagaries around our law, if it passes with 4 votes, 4-3, then it isn't the case where the emergency just doesn't happen and it's 30 days. What happens is the entire thing is defeated.
Okay.
5 votes to pass it. What you can do, as the mayor suggested, is just make an amendment to remove the emergency clause next time it's already on. As we said, it's not necessary that it happen right away. And it definitely takes 4 votes to amend. You get that off of there and then.
38 was, did not pass.
Yes, the held is
That
30.
we had already had 5 votes.
Correct. It's up to the
But that
council
was
to do
not
whichever way you want.
emergency, that was-
Right.
Right.
That was to suspend the rules.
Sure, I understand, yeah.
I just think my assessment is it's gonna be a tough vote for some people who are not wildly in favor of the development out there or the free center specific. So, it will not affect when this roadway or when water and sewer are constructed. It may, but we may just. Anyone remember, indulge me for a second, Doc, the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey? So I think I took whatever happened. So it was actually Thomas's idea. I ripped it off totally, but he pointed that out to me like the city. Well, okay, well, good. So there you go. It's not my idea, but
Did
I
that
think
have-
it's a swell one,
Did
huh?
that have an emergency clause in it?
Yeah, it does.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah,
Almost all the ordinances are drafted with
Yeah.
emergency clause.
so,
And that's very typical for cities. So.
That's why it's really.
but that could happen, some between now and voting time next Tuesday, somebody could have a change of heart about it. And we wanna. Once upon a time, Doc, we talked about having a great big super majority, and now we were talking about, we can get this thing approved 4-3. Well, we'll stay in the game, or the battle, or whatever it is. So anyway, that was the last thing I had on that, Doc. Kind of goes as a package, and we've been waiting a month or so to get 38 passed. We would hate to see it be passed, and jokes on the proponents.
All right, anything else?
No, sir.
If there,
There's one last.
Yeah, I think you're missing one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
Although,
that's why we've had Nikki waiting. on the-
Apparently not.
Can you throw in the packet?
Got it. All right. Last discussion item is the airport grant ordinance 2021-41. And Nikki's board has been waiting patiently, so please enlighten us.
are you there? Nikki?
Okay, sorry, I'm having a really hard time hearing. So we applied for the grant last year for 100% funding through ODOT for this automated weather observing system. We did not get funded. They only had, I think the number I heard was $3 million, so our project got bumped off the list. So this year they're coming back around, they're funding it at 95% ODOT, 5% local. So bringing it to you again to see, we'd like to apply for it. The project total is around, I think it's $271,000. Our portion would be just over $14,000. we didn't budget for that because I didn't know until probably 6 weeks ago that we weren't awarded the contract last year. So we didn't budget for it, but I think I can juggle funds around to cover that $14,000 share.
What would we get with this? What if you said weather, what was it?
An automated weather observing system.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically when pilots are flying in, there are sensors along the runway that give conditions, air temperature, precipitation, so they can kind of radio in and it's repeated. It's kind of like that. When you're on the highway, you can tune into whatever that station is and find traffic conditions. I think it's similar to that, except for it's for pilots to key in and find out what the weather conditions are at a potential landing site.
Okay.
I remember this from last year. Going through, us voting it in.
Any questions
No.
for Ms. Ward? Okay. If there are no comments or questions, I'd like a motion to move ordinance 2021-41 on full council. Mr. Ivy makes the motion. Ms. Earlston seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you for holding.
Okay.
Well, we did other business first, but so now we could set the next regular meeting time and date. It's June 15th at 7 p.m. Hopefully here in council chambers. If there are no other issues, I'd like a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion to return.
Ms. Earlston makes the motion. Mr. Ivy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 7:24 p.m.
I never thought I'd ever say that meeting in person felt so awkward. That was so.